You remember things that never happened. Not just you, millions of people, same memories, same details. Same absolute certainty, and then you check. The evidence says otherwise. The archive, the photograph, the original document contradicts everything you knew to be true. This is not a glitch in your brain. This is not mass delusion. This is something far stranger. This is the moment when reality collapses, and you realize you've been living in a superposition of truths. One version existed. Another version exists now. Both were real. Until you looked. In 2012, a librarian named Jennifer Rodriguez worked in a small public library in Canton, Ohio. She had been organizing the children's section for weeks, sorting through decades of donations in forgotten boxes. One afternoon, she pulled out a faded hardcover book from 1984. The title read, "The Berenstain Bears." She stared at the cover. Her hands trembled. That name was wrong. It had always been Berenstein. She remembered the name clearly because as a child, she had mispronounced it, and her mother corrected her repeatedly, emphasizing the stain sound. Berenstain Bears, not Berenstain. Jennifer rushed home and found her childhood diary, a pink notebook from 1989. She flipped through the pages, searching for any mention of the books. There it was, May 14th, 1989. Went to the library, got 3 Berenstain Bears books. Had a picnic with Mom. The diary still said Berenstein. She felt relief. But then she found her daughter's homework from 2001. A book report. The title her daughter had written was The Berenstain Bears and the Messy Room. Jennifer checked the official publisher's website. Every archive, every catalog, every historical record said Berenstein. 2 realities, 1 memory, 1 archive. The superposition had collapsed the moment she looked at the official record. But the memory of Berenstein refused to die. This phenomenon had been documented before, but never with this level of collective consistency. Cognitive scientists call it confabulation, the brain filling in gaps with plausible but incorrect information. But that explanation fails when millions share the exact same false memory. Jennifer was not alone. Online communities exploded with people who swore they remembered Berenstein. They posted photographs, old receipts, hand-drawn childhood pictures with the name spelled with an E. Yet every official source, every publisher's log, every copyright registration confirmed the A. The question became unavoidable. If the memory was false, why was it so precise? Why did it not vary? Why Berenstein and never Berenstein or Berenstain? The specificity suggested something else. Not a mistake. A collapse. On March 5, 2016, Dr. Marcus Webb stood in front of his film history class at King's College, London. He was preparing to show the original 1937 Snow White VHS tape, a rare copy from the Disney archives. He wanted his students to analyze the evil queen's dialogue, to study the language of early animation. He pressed play and let the scene run. The queen approached the magic mirror. Her voice echoed through the room. Magic mirror on the wall, who is the fairest one of all? The classroom erupted. Students shouted over each other. That's wrong! It's mirror, mirror. Dr. Webb paused the tape. He had taught this class for 11 years. Every year he played the scene. Every year he quoted the line as mirror, mirror. But the tape said otherwise. He checked the original 1938 script, archived in a locked vault at the British Film Institute. The script read, Magic Mirror on the Wall. He found a 1975 theater poster in the university's collection. The poster quoted the line as mirror, mirror on the wall. The poster was official, the script was official. Both existed, one was accurate, one was not, but which one had collapsed? Dr. Webb began asking his colleagues. Every professor over the age of 40 remembered mirror, mirror. Every student under 25 checked their phones and found magic mirror. The divide was generational, yet the memory remained universal among those who grew up watching the film on VHS or television broadcasts. Webb hypothesized that the collective memory had been shaped by parodies, by pop culture references, by repeated misquotations in other films and books. But that did not explain why the misquote became so entrenched, so uniform. It did not explain why the memory felt more real than the evidence. The observation of the script had collapsed the superposition. The film now said magic mirror, but millions remembered mirror, mirror. The ghost of the other timeline lingered. November 22, 2019, Tokyo. Kanji Tanaka unwrapped a package he had been waiting 6 months to receive. Inside was an original 1977 Star Wars action figure of C-3PO, the protocol droid. The figure was in pristine condition, still in its box, with the original Kenner label. Kenji examined every detail. The droid had a silver right leg. He froze. That was impossible. C-3PO was gold. Every part of the droid was gold. Kenji had watched the original trilogy 37 times. He had sketched the droid in art class when he was 12. He had built a replica costume for a convention in 2003. The droid was gold. He pulled out a photograph from 1980, taken at a toy store. The photograph showed a younger Kenji holding a C-3PO figure. In the photo, both legs were gold. He opened his laptop and streamed the original 1977 film. He watched the scene where C-3PO and R2-D2 wander through the desert. The camera panned. The droid's right leg was silver. The toy matched the film. The memory matched the photograph. But the film contradicted the photograph. Kenji called the photographer, his uncle, who had taken the picture 40 years earlier. His uncle remembered the toy. He remembered the gold leg. Kenji sent him a screenshot from the film. The uncle stared at it for 10 minutes before responding. I don't understand. It was always gold. Kenji posted the discovery on a forum. Within hours, thousands replied. Some remembered gold. Some remembered silver, but no one remembered checking before. The act of checking, the act of observing the film frame by frame, had forced the collapse. The superposition could not hold. One timeline showed gold. One timeline showed silver. Both existed in memory. Only one existed in evidence. The droid became a quantum object, alive and dead, gold and silver, until observed. The pattern is undeniable. In each case, the memory persists despite evidence. In each case, millions share the exact same false recollection. In each case, the observation of official records triggers the collapse. This is not explained by simple misremembering. Human memory is fallible, but it is not collectively precise. When a memory error occurs, it scatters. Some misremember one way, others another way. But the Mandela effect does not scatter, it converges. Everyone remembers Berenstein, not Berenstein. Everyone remembers mirror, reflection. Everyone remembers gold, not bronze. The specificity suggests a shared origin. Not a flaw in individual brains, but a flaw in the timeline itself. Quantum mechanics offers a framework. In the many worlds interpretation, every decision, every observation splits the universe into parallel branches. When you make a choice, the universe forks. One version of you goes left, another goes right. Both exist, both are real, but you only perceive one. The other continues in a separate branch, inaccessible, invisible, but no less real. Memory, in this model, is not a recording. It is a reconstruction. Every time you recall an event, your brain does not retrieve a file. It rebuilds the memory from fragments, from associations, from context. The act of recall is an act of observation. And observation, in quantum mechanics, collapses the wave function. The superposition ends. One outcome becomes real. The others vanish. Schrödinger's cat is both alive and dead until you open the box. The act of opening, the act of observing, forces the universe to choose. Before observation, both states exist simultaneously. After observation, only one remains. The Mandela effect suggests that memory operates the same way. Before verification, multiple versions of an event exist in superposition. You remember Berenstein. The archive says Berenstain. Both coexist in your mind as probabilities. But the moment you check, the moment you observe the official record, the superposition collapses. The archive becomes truth. The memory becomes error, but the memory does not disappear. It lingers, a ghost of the other timeline. A residue of the collapsed possibility. The brain cannot hold two contradictory truths as equally real. Cognitive dissonance forces a resolution. The evidence wins. The archive wins. The film wins. But the memory refuses to be erased. It survives as a feeling and nagging sense that something is wrong, that the universe has been rewritten. This is the horror of the Mandela effect, not that you misremembered, but that you remembered correctly, and the timeline changed. You lived in a universe where the bears were Berenstein, where the queen said, "Mirror, mirror," where C-3PO was entirely gold. And then, at some point without warning, without announcement, the universe shifted. The timeline collapsed into a different configuration. The evidence updated. But your memory did not. Some argue this is confabulation amplified by the internet. That one person misremembers, posts online, and others, influenced by suggestion, adopt the false memory as their own. This is the social contagion hypothesis. It is plausible. It is testable. But it does not explain the precision. It does not explain why the false memory is identical across continents, across languages, across isolated individuals who never communicated. It does not explain why the memory feels visceral, not vague. It feels like truth because it was truth. In another branch. In another timeline. The implications are staggering. If memory is quantum, if recall is observation, then every time you remember something, you are collapsing infinite possibilities into one. You are choosing which version of the past becomes real, not consciously, not deliberately, but inevitably. Your brain, acting as an observer, forces the universe to decide. And the universe, obeying the laws of quantum mechanics, eliminates all other possibilities. They do not cease to exist. They simply become inaccessible. Locked in parallel branches, forever out of reach, forever remembered, forever denied. You are the observer. You are the one opening Schrödinger's box. Every search, every question, every attempt to verify a memory is an act of observation. And every observation kills infinite cats. You collapse infinite timelines into one. You choose one truth. The others die. But you remember their meows. You remember the Berenstain Bears. You remember Mirror, Mirror. You remember the Golden Droid. These memories are not errors. They are evidence. Evidence that you existed in those timelines. Evidence that those timelines were real. Evidence that the act of observation murdered them. This is the existential weight of the Mandela Effect. You are not misremembering. You are mourning. Mourning a timeline that once was. Mourning a reality that collapsed. Mourning the infinite versions of yourself that lived in those other worlds. They are gone now, inaccessible, erased by the act of checking, by the act of observing, by the act of opening the box. The cat is dead. The timeline is dead. The memory remains. A gravestone for a world that no longer exists. You are the killer. You are the mourner. You are the observer. And the cat forever will haunt you. Because you remember when it was alive.